Welcome to Tracy Erin Talks, where functional medicine meets personal development. You want to be living your best life, but the overwhelming amount of health information out there is confusing, and the way you think about yourself is keeping you stuck. You know you are meant for more. As a women's health specialist, my aim is to simplify and equip you with the tools you need to be beautifully balanced from the inside out. Welcome back to Tracy Erin Talks, where today I want to talk with you about a recent experiment I've been conducting on myself. I went to Spain recently. I was gone for almost 2 weeks. And if you follow my reels on Instagram, you know you have proof from my Oura Ring, which gives me the data that I am talking about today, that amazing vacation, really a trip of a lifetime, completely tanked my resiliency score. And I recently made a plan to recover from this low level of resilience that my Oura Ring is telling me that I'm experiencing right now. So today I wanted to talk to you about all of that and what exactly I am doing in order to turn around and gain my resiliency back into an exceptional level, whereas it has been as low as it can possibly go after my vacation. Who knew, right? You go on vacation to relax, to rejuvenate, to have an amazing time, to learn something new, to get away from the normal daily stressors and the routine that you have on a daily basis. And yet my trip was all of that and more. However, I'm really thankful that I do have the Oura Ring so that it can help me in prevention. Now, I just need to tell you right off the bat, I am not feeling bad. I would not know that my resiliency score is as negative as it is right now if it weren't for my Oura Ring. So I'm choosing to use my Oura Ring right now as a measure of insight into how my nervous system is balancing between that sympathetic fight or flight response and the parasympathetic rest and digest response. We all need an optimal balance between those two, or else, as you've heard me talk about before, that's how chronic illness can tend to set in our lives. And we wake up one day and we feel sick, and day after day after day, we continue to feel sick. And boom, welcome to the world of chronic illness. And so many of my clients come to me and they say, well, I got sick out of nowhere. One day I was great and the next day I wasn't. And I am here to tell you that nobody outside of a traumatic incident, whether that's structural or emotional, etc., gets sick out of nowhere. There is generally a leading up to an event or something that happens where our toxin bucket spills over, or your body has simply had enough. After it has given you little tiny cues and whispers, it eventually starts to scream at you. And there you are with a set of symptoms that you didn't really ask for, don't want to deal with every day, but now you get the work of learning the message that these symptoms are communicating to you, how to reverse them, and then you find yourself on what we all in the functional world refer to as a healing journey. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So I know all about this one. So now I'm really thankful for my Oura Ring, which helps me on the prevention side before I wake up one day with more symptoms than I actually want to deal with right now. So it is giving me those whispers that are saying, hey, you're not recovering as well as you used to. It's time to give your body extra support. So what happened is I have been consistently at the Oura Ring uses a couple different metrics to give you what they call a resiliency score. It's essentially an estimate of your ability to withstand the physiological stress and how well you're recovering from it over time. So it's looking at daytime stress, it's looking at nighttime stress, it's looking at your restorative time, it's looking at how well you're recovering during sleep, specifically deep sleep, and then it gives you a score. Well, I had been in the habit of really taking exceptional care of myself. Um, Earlier, all spring long, leading up to this trip, I was on my own little weight loss journey. Please listen to that podcast of how I lost 40 pounds in 4 months. That's really inspiring and will give you insight into everything that I was doing in order to meet that goal. I was really guarding my sleep. I was obviously watching what I eat and exercising every single day and really managing my mind. And all of these things helped me to achieve what Oura Ring calls exceptional on the resiliency score table. And I had been there regularly. Every day I wake up and it was this little metric is a measure over time, and I had stayed up there, and that gave me a lot of confidence going into my trip, and I was very thankful for that. And then I went on my trip, and a lot of people have asked me, "What tanked your resiliency score so bad? If you were actually doing all that relaxing and rejuvenating you say you were, what would cause that resiliency score to tank?" And it's a really good question, and it's one that I don't know for sure. Although I have a couple hints about what was going on during that time. And those hints are things like I was eating food that was completely different to me, even though I think the Mediterranean diet is far more nutritious and well balanced and um, healthy on the whole for our bodies than our American standard diet. I wasn't eating the American standard diet, and I was being very strict with my diet in the sense that I was eating pretty much high protein meals, lots of meat, and lots of vegetables. I was not eating a lot of fat and I was not eating a lot of grains like sourdough breads, etc. There is not, and I definitely was not drinking any alcohol. There is not a restaurant in Spain that you can sit down to where they don't just plop in front of you the most voluptuous, creamy green olives you've ever tasted in your life, plus olive oil to dip this homemade sourdough bread in, and pair that with a Spanish wine. And it is just a match made in heaven as far as I'm concerned. But it's not what my body was used to. So that possibly could have contributed to a little bit extra work on a digestive front of needing to switch over to dealing with some of these other macros that I wasn't used to having in my daily diet. Also, even though my days were perfectly relaxing, I was either on the Mediterranean Sea or relaxing by the pool, enjoying long sessions of yoga or body work. I stayed up late, far later than I had stayed up ever at home. So my sleep score suffered quite a bit. And it just is obvious to think that if you're suffering in your sleep score, then that is definitely going to impact your resiliency score. Because remember, your resiliency score is factoring in your daytime stress levels, your daily restorative time, as well as how well you're recovering during sleep. Well, alcohol completely impacts the amount of deep sleep a person gets and the quality of sleep that people get at night. So that definitely was a factor there, but also it was just the shortened amount. So instead of like an average of somewhere between 7, 8 hours that I get usually at home, I was on vacation, staying up late, exploring the towns that I was visiting, staying out with friends, staying up with friends, and just in general trying to maximize every single day that I had. And I have no regrets. I want you to hear that in my voice. There is no regrets about missing out on sleep. I completely feel like I don't go on vacation to sleep. I go on vacation to experience it all and see it all. So this this whole experience that I'm describing right now, I literally have no regrets about. I am not thinking like, "Oh shoot, my resiliency score tanked. I should have slept more." No way. But now that I'm home, I am putting a plan in place to reverse this. And that's the whole point of this. So I think it was foods that I was eating. I think it was staying up late. I think it was the addition of fats and alcohol into my diet. And I think also just the impacts of jet lag. My last podcast episode was all about jet lag and what it does to us. And it's not just about feeling tired, because I really don't think I suffered that much from jet lag. But jet lag has a cumulative effect over time. Even if you're not feeling sleepy and you get on that time zone without with a seamless transition, you can still experience delayed digestion, you can still experience delayed cognition, and other longer lasting effects that take a week or two to get out of. So, anyway, all these factors kind of contributed to my resiliency score going from consistently exceptional, plummeting, tanking down to the lowest level, which Oura Ring calls limited. Now, limited just essentially means that there is a clear gap between how well my body is recovering from the stress, the effects of physiological stress, and the recovery that I was getting. So, what that means is that I need to close that gap. So, after coming home, I decided to give myself a plan so that I could close this gap. And I want to tell you what that plan is. My plan so that I can get my resiliency score back up so I can experience a smaller gap in between the physiological stress of just life in general and how well I'm recovering. I put a plan in place that involves a routine, it involves food, and it involves supplements. And so I want to give you the details of that now. So here we are. My morning routine and evening routine look a lot like what I have the women in my balanced hormone solution go through. This is easy to adopt. It doesn't take too much time, and it really puts my body back into a consistent routine every single day. And whenever your body needs to heal, you go back to the basics. You think like a baby. Babies love schedules, babies love routine. So does a body that's stressed. And so my morning routine is I need at least 10 minutes of sunshine. I need at least an hour walk. I am used to walking for an hour or more, so this is easy. Now, in my balanced hormone solution group, I just ask that women walk for 15 to 30 minutes, but I'm at 60 minutes and love it, and I can't go a day without it. So if I combine the sunshine and the walk, even better. The other thing is Heart Math for 5 minutes a day. Heart Math is a really amazing app that teaches you how to get into coherence, which is very similar to everything I'm describing right now. It's a way to get your nervous system switched over into a parasympathetic state, and it teaches your body how to calm itself and how to move into more of a restful, restorative state, especially when we find ourselves just stressed and running ragged all day long. My evening routine is I need to be outside getting that sunset light in my eyes for 10 minutes, walking for 20 minutes. I love to do this after dinner, which is great for blood sugar balancing before bed, and then listening to binaural beats for 5 minutes. Binaural beats is a really powerful tool that helps switch on your brain waves that teach your body to relax. It puts you also, just like Heart Math, into a restorative state. And there are lots of playlists that you can find on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube even, and drift off to sleep in these. After binaural beats, it's like you try to stay awake. I challenge you. It's so relaxing, especially if you choose a playlist that's focused on deep sleep. I love that. My other routine is to wear my blue light blocking glasses before sunset. So those things in the morning and evening are what I'm committing to provide my body with extra support while I try to get my resiliency levels back up. As far as the plan for food, I'm going back to my basics. I'm going back to 30 grams of protein per meal, 8 to 10 cups of vegetables per day, and limiting myself to 2 tablespoons of fat per meal. This is where my body tends to thrive. This is where I think women in especially 30s and up tend to thrive. We need to eat more for our hormones and less for our emotions. And following this type of diet is really, really nutrient dense. And I'm really, I can experience the effects of it when I'm committed to it day after day after day. It cuts all my cravings. It helps me sleep great, and it gives me stable moods, and it keeps my extra weight off. So I'm really thankful for that. The things that I'm limiting are alcohol, sugar, any grains, and eating after sunset. These are the no's. These are the absolute no's, while my body needs this extra support to get back my resiliency score into the exceptional level. So are these things that I need to do forever? No. But these are things that I need for extra support right now. The last thing that I'm doing that I'm adding in is some extra supplements. So instead of my morning espresso, I am enjoying Rasa mushroom adaptogenic coffee. It's actually super simple to make. It's an instant coffee, and trust me, I can identify with the coffee snobs out there. So I know what you're thinking, but just give it a try. You 1 tablespoon into your mug, pour some hot water over it, give it a swirl, and it actually is a wonderful taste. If you need to add a little cream to it, you can. I've just been enjoying it black, but with the Rasa coffee, I know exactly how many milligrams of adaptogens that I'm getting. I also know the specific type of mushrooms and adaptogens that are in this cup of coffee. Really, it's like taking a supplement. So instead of my caffeine laden coffee, I am enjoying this alternative coffee that actually makes me feel great. And like I said, it's like a supplement. So instead of swallowing another capsule, I can drink it and it's very enjoyable at the same time. So I'm having 2 cups of that a day. I'm also including something new to my lifestyle, which is hydrogen water. I'd love to do a podcast episode soon on hydrogen water and the impacts of that. I just recently got this little device and I can make about a cup and a half every single time. It takes me about 10 minutes. And what it does, I pour distilled water into this device, push the button, and 10 minutes later, I have hydrogenated water that is very anti-inflammatory to the body, very healing to the body. So I'm drinking that consistently throughout the day. As far as actual capsules, I am doing 1 capsule of Body Bio Calm in the evening, 2 capsules of magnesium glycinate before bedtime, and I'm using my doTERRA Serenity oil on my pillow and on my chest every night before bed. So this is my plan. I've got my routine, I've got my food, and I've got my supplements. And I'm committing to do this strictly for 2 weeks. And I'm actually going to commit to do this until I can get my resiliency score back up. I'm hoping it's going to be around 2 weeks. You'll have to wait and see and follow along. I'm almost at 1 week now, and I just this morning leveled up into the next category, which is adequate, which sounds hilarious that I'm excited about being adequate, but here we are. I'm finally out of the lower limited stage and I'm now in adequate. So I'm excited for that. Something to keep in mind too, if you do have an Oura Ring, is that this whole metric that I'm talking about, the resiliency score, it's taking in data from the previous 14 days. So this marker is not going to change overnight. So for example, if you just have it, let's say, you drink a little bit of alcohol or you stay up way too late, your resiliency score is not going to reflect that the next day. Your readiness score will, but not your overall resiliency score. Your nervous system needs a pattern to shift. And so one day out of your normal is not going to tank your resiliency score. What does tank it is day after day after day after day. So, it might take me a little bit more than 2 weeks to get there because this is a cumulative score over time. And just like it took me 2 weeks to go down there, it's going to take me a little bit to get back up. But I'm excited to watch how this works. And here's the thing. This is my main message, is that lifestyle medicine matters. Lifestyle medicine makes a huge difference. It's not just a habit that you can set on the shelf and forget about until you need it. Like I said, your nervous system needs patterns in order to shift. So whatever you're doing every single day is creating a pattern of health for your nervous system or a pattern of dysfunction for your nervous system. So doing one thing out of the ordinary is not going to tank you. It's doing something out of the ordinary day after day after day. So conversely, if you do the right thing day after day after day, your nervous system can only improve. So in the Balanced Hormone Solution, this is a 90-day program. I work with women for 3 months, and usually on month 2, we are strictly focused on cortisol and the impact of stress hormones in our lives. And we do challenges like this because we need to recreate routines and habits in our lives that will give us the pattern of a healthy, stable nervous system. So I am doing this too. I'm doing my own little experiment, and I hope you follow along. And I think we'll all be able to see and be convinced that what we do on a daily basis matters and it stacks up over time to give us the overall health that we're experiencing today. Again, and let me reiterate, I am not personally feeling sick. I'm not feeling tired. I'm not feeling stressed. So, tools like the Oura Ring help in identifying things that are like under the radar. So, any kind of tool that you can have that helps you sort of biohack your way to better health, like that helps give you insight before it shows up on a blood test, before it becomes a diagnosis. This is where functional medicine shines because it's really aiming at the function of our lives, of our organs, of our body systems. It's not necessarily looking at, oh, here's a disease process. How can we give a drug to suppress these symptoms, but this disease, sorry, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. That's not functional medicine. We're working at the root cause. And so that's what I'm demonstrating right now for myself and for my clients and for my listeners. So follow along. You can follow on my Instagram page. I'm generally sharing stories about my Oura Ring scores. I'm sharing stories and reels about how this is all going for me and what it's looking like. And I'd love to have you on this journey. If the balanced hormone solution is something that you are looking at and sounds interesting to you and sounds like the missing piece in your life, I'd love to have you. We're starting a new cohort in a couple weeks from now in mid-August, and everything is open right now. If you'd like to get on the wait list or you know for sure you want to just get started with me, let's go ahead and get that in place. So send me an email or a message, contact me on Instagram, and I would love to get you in that program. Thanks for listening today, and I hope you follow along this journey. And let me just challenge you. If you might not be feeling sick, but you need a routine and you need patterns to have a healthy nervous system. So what are some of the ways that you can get your routine dialed in, your food dialed in, your supplements dialed in? And also, let me just communicate that there's 1,000 other things I could have included in this. But I'm really trying to keep it, how much can I move the needle in my life without, creating a part-time job for myself, taking a bunch of supplements, doing a whole bunch during the day, right? Like all of us are busy. We've got lives going on. And so as much as my health is important to me, I've got a lot of other things I need to do in raising my family and running my business and all of the things that are on my plate. So I'm really looking for the most potent changes, the most potent activities that we can do that move the needle the most. And I think I've hit my nail on the head in terms of what I have chosen for right now. But we'll see. I'm always open to learning and growing. I'm always open to being corrected and to changing my course. So if there's something I'm missing, I'm going to reevaluate next week and we will go from there. If there's a way I can accelerate this, I will add it in and I'll definitely keep you posted. All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. And until next time, stay beautifully balanced, my friends. Thank you for joining me today on Tracy Erin Talks. I hope you found today's episode enriching to your life. If you enjoyed today's content, would you consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review? That simple act helps this podcast get into the hands and ears of many more women just like you. Remember, anything you want and do not yet have will require a new set of beliefs, thoughts, actions, and a new you. I am honored to be on this journey with you as we wholeheartedly pursue true health and wellness in mind, body, and soul.